That's our three lovely singers. Doing their best smiles. Let's see, 2 years ago, we were first to introduce you to one of the stars of Star Wars, Mark Hamill. Little did any of us know just what an incredible success that he in this science fantasy film would be. And now it's time for the sequel, The Empire Strikes Back. It's already outgrossing Star Wars at the box office. Mark Hamill once again plays the part of the hero Luke Skywalker. And just in case... whose voice has changed radically, by the way. He plays the hero Luke Skywalker. Here he is in action in The Empire Strikes Back.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Okay. Thank you very much. If you've been watching the news, you probably would have seen them on the news this afternoon, but this is their first live appearance, and I'm happy to say that they saved it for us. Would you welcome back, please, now 2 years older, but still one of the screen's most popular ever stars, Mark Hamill. Here you go. I tell you what, it's a good greeting, and you must have a lot of warmth in yourself for this country, boy. They really give you good greetings.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Boy, you know, you really have to want to come here to spend 26 hours on an airplane. That's
Yeah.
what happened to us, but when they asked me to come, boy, I was ready to go.
Yeah, first one.
I love it here.
You still find those kind of flights tedious? You know, you've flown it just about all over the world.
Well, it's harder now with a 13-month-old son.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see. You've learned a few other tricks.
And from the clip, you can see how well I handle dialogue. I think that...
What's the son's name?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan, yeah.
Is that the only one?
Yeah, that's the only one.
Well, yeah. And have you picked out what he's going to be yet?
Not really, no. You know, whatever he leans towards, I won't discourage him, but I don't think I want another actor in the family, Don.
No, you don't need the competition.
No.
What about yourself now? You did the Star Wars thing, and then we didn't see much of you until this film.
Well, let's see. I've done a film a year, really. Corvette Summer came out here, didn't it? Did it? I don't know.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
But-
those girls would know, I guess.
Oh. Thanks, Mom.
Yes.
And I've just done a film with Lee Marvin called The Big Red One, a World War II film.
That's an Army division.
Right,
Big Red One.
yeah, the First
yeah.
Division.
Yeah.
And it came in second at the Cannes Film Festival. It got great reviews. It just opened about a week ago in the United States. But you know what happens is that unless I'm out, promoting a film, I just sort of fade, really. I don't go to a lot of Hollywood parties and so forth. So, and it's funny especially, you come to Australia and people haven't seen me for years and years, and then it's like tap water. Every time you turn on the tube, there I am, because I'm here for a week, you know, and you're on this radio show and that.
Saturation. Well, you're here for promotion, so I mean...
Are you sick of me yet, folks?
No, not yet. What about you say you don't go to a lot of Hollywood parties and things. Is that on purpose? You avoid those kind of things? You don't like them? Or?
Well, it's hard for me, really. I don't know exactly what to do with them, you know. I
don't think anybody does, Mark. I think people go to those parties and sort of hang around trying to say, well, should I look conspicuous or inconspicuous? Or
yeah, so we go to a few things. My wife and I have gone to, you know, premieres and so forth, but it's, you know, it's like we went to the Academy Awards, just to say we went, and it was very exciting, but it's more fun to kick off your shoes and order up a pizza and watch it on TV.
I'm with you.
Honestly, rather than in a tuxedo.
I'm with you. What's your wife's name?
Mary Lou.
And what does she do?
She was a dental hygienist. I met her at the dentist's office. Yeah, and peering down my mouth didn't kill the romance. That says something.
It's the first time you opened your mouth and it really paid off, right? What what does she think of her husband being a star?
Well, you know, I think she was prepared for it. She worked in Westwood, and actually, I think she knows more famous people than I do. She does the Eagles' teeth, and you know, she would come home from the office and say, you know, oh, I cleaned Olivia Newton-John's teeth today.
Oh, really?
What's she like?
That's funny. You get the inside dope from her,
yeah,
right?
from her, right.
Better off. Yeah.
Yeah.
They always compare sequels to originals.
Oh, sure.
In these pictures.
Sequel has sort of a dirty name, because what happens is that you make a film that's successful, and immediately people start thinking of sequel, and that's mostly to capitalize on the success of the first one. Now,
yeah,
I don't know whether I mentioned it before. I think maybe I did. I told you I was signed for 3 films way back when.
You did, too, yes. 3 of this series of films, you mean?
Because
yeah, right.
George Lucas, who made up the storyline, felt that the story was too big to be told in one film, so he split it up. So if any, you know, I think the sequel, in this case, is very much justified. They compare it to a 3-act play. In the first act, you set up the characters and the environment. That was Star Wars. And it had sort of a triumphant, you know, giddy atmosphere about it. Now, in Empire Strikes Back, probably the easiest thing to have done would be to try and duplicate the success of the first one. You know, analyze the first one, what made it popular, and try and deliver the same experience all over again. And frankly, I was nervous. When I read the screenplay to Empire Strikes Back, I thought, uh-oh, for people that are expecting that same kind of feeling again, they're going to be real disappointed, because he stuck to his original conviction and his original idea of making it a trilogy. So in the second act, like, again, the analogy to the 3-act play, you deal with the characters' problems, and usually the second act has a much more tragic overtone to it. So it's a bit more mature, and it's a bit more thought-provoking, and it's a darker, sort of more somber film. And yet it's very heavily into the mythology and the fairy tale aspect, which is where I think really, you know, a lot of films came out and they, you know, they said that they were trying to duplicate the success of Star Wars, and where they really missed the boat is that they figured it was science fiction because there's spaceships flying around in the sky. But really, Star Wars is such a fairy tale that...
I was just going to say, it really is a true fairy tale. The princess is still there,
sure.
Princess Leia and all those things.
A wizard played by Alec Guinness, and a space pirate played by Harrison Ford. We've got a new character, Lando Calrissian, played by Billy Dee.
Yeah, we'll meet him in just a minute, too. They're going to like that. What about Luke Skywalker? He seems to have matured a little.
That's
does he...
well,
he sort of doesn't have any sex life, Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? He's pretty pure.
He's
flying
got
around
more important things on his mind.
Well, he would, yes. Flying around in space, there's not much to look at.
That's one thing that's nice. People say, are you worried about being stereotyped or being thought of just as Luke? But Luke is so different in this film as any character would be 3 years on. Now, in the first film, he was really a, golly!
Yeah.
They followed us.
Gomer Pyle in space.
Yeah, you know, he was this little kid from a farm. Now he's not totally grown up. He's got a new costume, which I'm thrilled about.
Oh,
but
finally had the other one clean, did he?
We only get one costume per movie. But no, to be honest, he's much more developed. just on the threshold of being a man, and the decisions he has to make are more important. And there's a new character. It's a knockout of a character. Frank Oz has created this. Well, I can't spoil it for you. It's just this marvelous new thing. I thought R2 and 3PO would be the ultimate sort of non-human creatures I'd ever have to work with.
There's a story here that we read in Time magazine about a snake or something. Does that have to do with this thing?
Well, it lives on his planet.
Yeah, right.
I go to this planet, a swamp planet, where there are snakes everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, anacondas and boa constrictors and iguanas and...
Wait a minute. When you shot this scene, did you really have them around you?
Oh, yeah. They drape them over your head in the trees and say... And you walk by and you sort of look up at this 22-pound snake and, you know, go on. Now that's acting.
Yes, that's...
Because I like snakes in books and things, you know, in Tarzan movies. I don't like them draped over my head.
Yes, you like being able to look at this and say, look at that snake over there.
Over there.
Yes, right.
Way over there. No, this one king snake that I was supposed to be clearing out of, I'm getting ready to leave the planet and I'm clearing, you know, sort of debris out of my X-Wing fighter, and there's a king snake. Now, he happened to be shedding his skin, and they secrete this, like, milky fluid. He was blind, so every time I picked him up, he'd flinch, you see. And they said, well, get him about 18 inches from his head, so he squirms around and people know he's not a rubber snake. So about the 8th take, I picked him up, and he had just about had it, and he wheeled around, and he bit me on my little finger. He, you know, drew blood a little bit, and being the, you know, galactic space hero I am, I went, wow! And the snake handler said, oh, no, he has pride too. He said, no, he didn't bite you, Mark.
You said,
what do you mean he didn't bite? He said, well, he nipped you.
Right.
Nipped, bite, you know. He got his snaky lips on my finger. That's all I know.
You should have said, listen, my wife's a dental technician, and I know when I'm bit or not, right? Hey, we'll be back. You're going to meet Billy D. Williams in a minute. You're going to love this guy when he comes out, too. Hang in there. We'll be right back with more about this. Let me tell folks about this guy. I've been a fan of this guy for a while, off of one particular performance that he did in a motion picture. But let me tell you more about it. Billy D. Williams is a new addition to the group. He plays the handsome, sometime hero and sometime double-crosser, Lando Calrissian. Did I do it right?
Spot on.
Here he is. Now, this is how we see him in the film when he meets up with his old friend, Han Solo, at Cloud City. Look out.
Oh, no one to meet us.
I don't like this.
What would you like? Well, they did let us land.
Look, don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Trust me. See? My friend. Keep your eyes open, huh?
Hey! Why, you slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler. You got a lot of guts coming here, after what you pulled. How you doing, you old pirate? So good to see you. I never thought I'd get to see you again.
Well, he seems very friendly.
Yes. Very friendly.
What are you doing here?
Ah, repairs. I thought you could help me out.
What have you done to my ship?
Your ship? Hey, remember, you lost her to me fair and square.
And how you doing, Chewbacca? You still hanging around with this loser?
Hello, what have we here?
Welcome, I'm Lando Calrissian. I'm the administrator of this facility. And who might you be?
Leia.
Welcome, Leia. All right. You old smoothie.
Hello, sir. I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations. My facilities are at your... Well, really.
Okay. And, like they said, here's the old smoothie himself, Billy D. Williams. Here you go. Right. How are you?
Oh, a little bit tired.
Yeah. Have they been pushing you two guys? Have they?
Oh, my God, that trip was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never made anything like that in my whole life before.
It's only 26 hours, and they wait on your hand and
26
foot,
hours,
don't
yeah.
they, and do all that?
But it's right after the 26 hours.
They come and get you. Tell me about this part. It's a bit of a departure for you. How did this come about that you ended up in a...
Well, actually, Irv Kirshner, who directed it, came by my house, and we sat around for about 2 hours talking about Eastern philosophy and European Western philosophy, and then he got around to telling me about this character, Lando Calrissian. And I fell in love with the name. You know, Lando Calrissian is an Armenian name.
Mm.
And then he began to tell me about the character, and I thought it was really interesting because it was it's devoid of the whole stereotype, cliche kind of a thing. He's a guy that's really out there. He's kind of an eclectic being, so to speak. You like that word?
Yes, terrific. I'll go figure out what it means.
But he's a part of the whole situation. He's a part of everything, and I love him. He's cavalier. He's charming. He's roguish. He's a real scoundrel, you know. And I thought that was a lot of fun.
And you don't get much opportunity. I mean, the furthest thing from your mind probably would have been that you would have ended up with a lead role in a sequel to like Star Wars or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's like living out your childhood fantasies, actually. You know, I couldn't refuse it. I had to do it. I mean, where else would you do it? You know, Star Wars is a place. I mean, that was it. It's a phenomenon.
I talked about before. I spoke to you about it when we were in the Ark before about a motion picture we did. We had a motion picture we ran on this channel about 4 weeks ago called Brian's Song. I don't know how many of you would have seen that. Did you see that? Yeah. And a fabulous motion picture in which you played almost a legend, really, a football hero.
Gail Sayers, yeah.
Gail Sayers, yeah.
It's a classic, that thing.
I think it would be, yeah. I just said I watched it and cried again, you know. Is it difficult playing a famous athlete? I mean, you really must have to get yourself in shape to be able to do that.
Well, I spent a great deal of time in the gymnasium, you know. I spent almost every day in the gymnasium. But playing Gale was very interesting for me. It was a very strange period. It was a very interesting period for me anyway, because at the time I was going through a lot of heavy changes. And the day they called me in to read for the part, I was at a very low ebb in my life, and it somehow worked for that moment, for that particular scene that I had to do that morning. And then, of course, when Jimmy and I met each other, there was an immediate chemistry between the two of us.
James Caan, we're talking
James
about.
Caan, yeah. So it all worked out just fine. Of course, working out with those guys is pretty rough. I mean,
He's talking about
you stand around guys around 250 pounds, about 5 of them, you know, standing around. Jim Butkus, you know, who writes poetry, but when he gets on the field, I mean, it's...
and they ain't afraid to hit you either. That's the other thing.
No, they're not.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lady Sings the Blues. That's the next one that came up. I think it was a direct result of the other one, you know?
Yeah, Lady came up, and then that was a whole other step for me, you know, with Diana Ross.
Yeah. That's what I meant about the Star Wars thing. You wouldn't think it would be that sort of a departure for a black actor. The only other black actor that was in this, of course, was the man in the black mask.
James Earl Jones.
Well, he wasn't in the first one, was
Did
he?
the voice.
You're talking about Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, right?
Yeah, but that's
There's
his
another
voice.
actor.
Yeah.
There's another actor.
But actually, when I approach acting, I never think in terms of black, white, green, yellow. I mean, yes?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't really ever think of myself as a black actor. You know, I never think in terms of that. I mean, to me, it's just a question of just doing things that are very exciting and interesting. I mean, and innovative. You know, I just don't believe in being limited. I just want to do it all. I just want to experience the whole trip.
Your daughter was doing an interview today. They told me that you've got a 5-year-old daughter.
She's 7, yes.
7, is she?
Going on 27, yes.
Going on. And what's her name? I can't pronounce it. Hanako.
Well, the Hawaiians say Hanako, the Japanese say Hanako. And it means flower, and she's an absolute flower. She's quite beautiful.
The man from TV Week or TV Times evidently had her in the corner, was talking to her, and they said she was standing there like some adult doing this interview.
Yeah,
like she had
when I turned around, I couldn't believe it.
Is that right?
Get rid of this kid, get her out of here.
Do you travel with your family a lot?
Well, a great deal of the time, yeah. Yeah, we like to share a lot between us.
Miss them when you get away, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's a very strange thing, when you spend a great deal of time away, and like when I was shooting Empire, I think we were gone for about 4 months. And at a certain moment, you feel a detachment. You feel as though the world somehow stops, or something's not right. It's not real anymore. You don't belong any place anymore. So it's nice to kind of have them around.
Talking about reality, a question for the two of you. You're working in a completely unreal world there in this motion picture, special effects and things. How do you adjust to all of those? I mean, you really got to do some weird things.
Actors always have to use their imagination.
Yeah, I think that's...
And they're really good about showing us drawings and paintings of what it's supposed to look like. They don't ever ask us to, blindly look at a piece of tape or something. I mean, they really are fair about that. They show us the...
Would I be giving away secrets if I asked you how you do that sword thing, for instance, in the duel?
Well, it was done a variety of ways. There was one process where they used a revolving pole that had rear screen projection material on it. And that reflects the light source back at about 150 times the intensity.
I'm certainly glad I asked this question. It's going to...
No, you know what I wanted to clear up, though, was you asked about another black actor, James Earl Jones. He provides the voice of Darth Vader, you see, but another actor is actually inside the suit.
I don't know how many people here would know who James Earl Jones is. If they saw him, they would know who he was.
He's a wonderful, wonderful actor.
Yes.
The Great White Hope was a film he did about Jack Johnson, the fighter. Maybe there's someone that knows.
That's right, yes. And he also played in that wonderful picture about the man, where he played the vice president, and the president dies, and he becomes the first black president. An interesting experiment.
Particularly funny picture for Bill.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
No. Yes.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I've completely lost it. What about with special effects? Remember in the first one, you told us about the car that went along the ground there. What do they do with those planes flying and those big monsters walking or something? Did you actually see those? How big are those in reality?
Well, now the Imperial Walkers. Did you see the big sort of clumsy? They're sort of like the War of the Worlds machines.
Yeah.
In the book, anyway. And those were frame by frame animated, where they take just one still photograph and move it about a 1/16 of an inch and photograph it again. 22 photographs go by in a second, and when they, flip by that many still photographs, it gives the appearance of movement. Now, I saw drawings of it, but when I was out in Norway, I had to just look up into space and go, and run, you see, which was sort of embarrassing.
Yes.
You want to explain to, like, Norwegian skiers, we're making a movie here.
Yeah.
Really.
They were all saying, keep us supporting Dave with the screwball and the carbon bird is hidden there in the barn. Revenge of the Jedi. That's the next sequel to this. Revenge of the Jedi?
That's the end of the trilogy. It ties up all the loose ends. It's the big finish.
And you're signed for this one too, Billy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that one. That's it for me. I don't want to make a career out of this one.
No more space things, huh? You can do it all. Well, look, enjoy the rest of your stay. I hope it's fantastic for you here. I think you'll really enjoy it. This is your first trip?
Yeah, this is my first
You'll have a
trip,
terrific time here. You will just love it.
It's lovely here.
Yeah. And you'll go back talking about it, too. I know you will. And thanks for coming in today. Let me tell you, Empire Strikes Back starts at Hoyt's Theaters August 7th in Sydney and Melbourne. In the other states, you just look for it. The ads will be big enough. And I'll tell you what, you better go quick because it's going to be packed houses. I can see it coming. How about thanking these two? Oh, wait a minute. We got to look back. They tell me you're a hat nut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we fixed you up. We got a couple of little hats here that we usually give away.
This will go with my shirt.
Sylvester.
No, the Don Lane shirt.
Oh, that's right, with the Don Lane shirt. Yeah, see if that fits. I don't know if it will or not. And this one over here we'll fix up. I'll give you the red one.
Oh,
you don't mind red, do you?
No.
It's okay.
Hang in to me.
Oh, wait a minute. It's got to be laid out in the back. I think. Oh, I want to see that they get on right before we go to commercial break here. Or people think I'm giving them a dud hat.
I already know how many holes. Right?
You already know?
Yeah. Put it right in there.
There you go.
Come on, Billy, we gotta go to commercial.
You got it. Mark Hamill, Billy D. Williams. We'll be back with that great clip of Frank Sinatra singing at his 40th anniversary of his recording career. Hang in there. You're going to see the whole song.